Sixers win it! Wow!
Oh, man, Embiid just posterized Russell Westbrook.
You love the Philadelphia Eagles? Let me get a hell yeah!
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of Party on Broad. It is Deibs, Mr. Crockpot on Twitter. If you guys are new here and you're watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, guys. Check us out on iTunes and Spotify. Drop those 5 stars. Leave a review. All right, on tap for today, we are talking Obi Toppin. Joining us today is my man, Austin Krell. Follow him on Twitter at Krell2PL. He does the Feed to Embiid podcast, which covers the NBA and the Philadelphia 76ers. What's going on, Austin, man?
A whole lot of content these days, right? A lot of Sixers content to talk about.
Yeah, we're rolling here with these NBA draft pods and videos.
We're killing it. We are killing it with that stuff.
And I just rolled out some hockey shit, so there's that. Never thought I would say that. All right. Also joining us today is my man, Thiago. Follow him on Twitter at TScabiaman. How you doing, Thiago?
Good, man. How's everything? Yeah, we're just going to be breaking down The Last Dance in the next episode probably and talk about Byron Russell and Jeff Hornacek. No, I'm just joking.
We should offer a scouting report on the players and on those teams.
The crunch time defense that the Suns played.
All right. So today we are going to talk about 6'9" sophomore out of Dayton, Obi Toppin. All right, Austin, you're going to be writing, this article coming out at thepaintlines.com on this guy. Talk to me a little bit about Obi Toppin and his career at Dayton.
So I don't think we can neglect the fact that he was a sophomore, but he was a redshirt sophomore. So he's actually a year older than most sophomores are. He's academically through 3 years of college. And he's going to be entering the NBA draft. He is 22 years old. He'll turn 23 during his rookie season, towards the end of the season. So you're looking at a guy who is going to be going into his first year in the NBA, 22. His second year, he'll be 23, going on 24. So he's already on basically you want to get him on a rapid acceleration program as quickly as possible because there's a lot lacking there. Having said that, he has one of the higher ceilings in this draft. I could see why there'd be hype there for him in top 5, top 10. But I do have some concerns about him for sure.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Obi Toppin's strengths. I'll lead us off, man. For me, I think he shows a little potential. I see this guy as a scoring forward, and I see some potential in the pick and roll as a roller to the basket. He didn't show it much at Dayton, but the ability that he has, he's got nice hands, he's got a jumper, he's very good at getting others involved. He can read a double team. He has a good enough handle. He's got some IQ. I see him as a potential effective pick and roll scorer in the NBA. He's really good at finishing around the basket. So, however, he didn't do this at Dayton. So you're relying on potential of a 22-year-old in the top 10. Austin, give me a strength of Obi Toppin.
So one thing I think is really basic is that I think plays very well for him is that he's got very good size to be an NBA power forward, 6'9", 220. And that's like what you want. I mean, he's not like a massive load. He can move. His footwork is a little bit bad at times, and he defends a little bit flat-footed, but he has perfect size to slot in at a power forward. It would be really weird, but I guess you could slot him in at small forward for like a couple minutes per game. I wouldn't recommend it. You could even play him at center, I guess, a little bit small ball. But he's going to slide in 6'9", 220, be a really good fit at power forward from a size perspective.
How about you, Thiago? Any strengths for Obi Toppin?
I think we touched on all of them. No, I'm just joking. No, there are a couple more, I think.
Brutal.
Not an Obi Toppin.
Brutal.
So, you guys.
He's no Jordan Nwora, I'll tell you
that. So you guys kind of touched on it, and I think I'm just going to expand on what you guys said. Watched him against Kansas, against a guy by the name of, what was his name? Azubuike, the Kansas center.
Udoka?
And you saw, yeah, exactly. And you saw the functional strength play out really well with Obi Toppin. Again, I'm not saying that by any means did he push Azubuike off the block or anything like that, but he held his own at center, and I think that showed out well for him. I think it shows a little bit of the versatility that Austin talked about, be able to play small five, be able to switch to a four. So I think from that perspective, Obi Toppin has a lot going from him. I'm also a big believer on the shot. I'm not saying that he's going to be, by any stretch of the imagination, a knockdown, high volume three-point shooter, but you see a little bit of a face-up game with him. You see ability to kind of, face guys, pull up, shoot off the catch a little bit. So, and the shooting motion is pretty fluid. I don't think it's broken by any stretch of the imagination. The question is he going to be put on those positions to where he's going to have open looks? He's going to have the chance to get a shot off in certain situations. I think that's the big question. But for me, the ability to play the 4 and the 5, to shoot perhaps a stretch 4, and like you said, to roll towards the rim as like a rim runner, those are the things that for me really stands out for Obi Toppin as a positive.
Awesome. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about weaknesses. My biggest concern with Obi Toppin is that as good as he is offensively, he is just as bad defensively, and that is my biggest weakness, man. My thing is I don't know what he is at the next level, and for a guy that's going to be a top 10 guy, I have way more concerns than positives for this guy. Yes, he's a great dunker. Yes, he's gone viral several times, but I have so many questions about his defense and his position at the next level. In college, he was okay at defending the paint. He had 1.2 blocks per game, but he didn't do much rim protection at Dayton, and he just turned 22. So what is his ceiling? I don't know. So Austin, you could probably fill me in with this guy, but I look at a similar guy like Bam Adebayo, but he doesn't have anywhere near the fluid mobility of Bam. He doesn't have the quick feet that really he needs to be a stretch 4. He cannot defend on the perimeter, but if you throw him at center, he's going to get out physicaled by guys in the NBA at center. Mm-hmm. So what the heck is this guy? And that's something that I have major concerns with, a guy that's going to be in the top 10. Any take on that, Austin?
Yeah, I would agree. I think he's way too, either unaggressive or not strong enough to battle on the block. He gets bumped off the block pretty easily. So how is he going to establish himself in the post at center? Could you play him outside as a 5 and go 5 out? I don't think so, because his handle in tight spaces isn't that good. How about a power forward? How does that work? I think his jumper is certainly existing more than Bam Adebayo's is, but I also don't trust it. He can make jumpers. He's made he shot 40%, I believe, about. My God, my words are out of order today. He shot about 40% from 3 at Dayton this year on 82 total attempts. I mean, the volume was there, but his shot selection at times is pretty bad. You never really know whether it's going to be knockdown or hit the opposite side of the backboard and then pop off. So I don't really know where his touch is, but I mean, with the reps, the touch will develop with the reps. But I mean, I certainly don't trust him as a jump shooter yet, to be a stretch 4. I don't trust his decision making yet to be a stretch 4 and take good shots. As a center, I don't know where he stands in terms of his ability to muscle up with other centers. I think you're going to be looking to exploit as many mismatches as possible with him until he either bulks up or develops a legitimate skill from outside the paint. But for now, I mean, you're right. He's a dunker. That's really all he's going to give you. I have more weak strengths that I can go over, but I don't want to take it from Thiago, so I'll let him go next.
Go ahead, dude.
So Austin touched on a little bit. For me, the guy's big, long, strong, and it doesn't translate on the defensive end the way that I would expect it to. He adds very little value in the form of a passing big or any type of guy who can really add much offense other than a dunk or a spot up shot from the outside. So I looked at him, the first reaction that I saw, just as the physical specimen that he is, I was thinking from an East Eastern Conference perspective, you have guys like Ben Simmons, Giannis, and Pascal Siakam, 3 guys, big, long, that are good ball handlers. So I'm thinking, like, if I'm an Eastern Conference team, Obi can perhaps be that kind of stopper that can put against those 3 guys. And then I rolled the tape and I saw how slow and stiff he is moving laterally. And that's something that really stood out for me, because at that point, it kind of speaks a little bit what you guys are saying is, what is Obi Toppin at this level? If he can't defend those guys, and then he can't really add much offensive value in the form of a passer or a dribble drive guy, I go back to the same questions you guys are saying. What can really contribute that perhaps a late first, early second round pick can do as well? So all those things for me really raise a large question mark around Obi Toppin.
Yeah, and we're all Sixers fans here, so we just got through the nightmare of Jahlil Okafor. And when I think of Obi Toppin, I think of a guy that, it's 5 minutes left. It is crunch time in the fourth quarter. This guy's going to get switched to death. And is this a guy that's going to be able to be on the court during a major defensive possession? Austin, is that a legit concern?
Yeah, no, definitely. And speaking of that, off of that, he averaged 7.5 rebounds per game for Dayton this year. For a guy 6'9", 220, playing some 5 at Dayton as well, and especially as athletic as he's purported to be, 7.5 rebounds per game isn't good enough. There's a lot of times where he's ball watching. There's rebounds that he can get that he doesn't get. So that's a liability in crunch time. But as a defender, I mean, he closes out in the perimeter with a lot of lack of discipline. His footwork is not choppy, it's flat-footed. He's going to be very susceptible to getting beat off of a drive, and then someone has to commit a foul to just to get over and help in time, or he's going to foul a jump shooter. And so I think there's a lot of concern there. And then on the interior, he relies largely on his ability to extend his arms last second and get guys sort of pinned between the backboard and him, and then they throw up tough shots and he's able to block them or at least dissuade them a little bit. He's often getting beat to the basket by bigs on up and under moves, and he'll bite the fake, or just quicker players are getting around him and they're able to get to the basket around him. Even though he's like leaner than Jahlil and he's probably a little more athletic than Jahlil, his feet are still slow. His lateral quickness still isn't there, and that's going to present a major issue in crunch time. It's not even going to be crunch time. It's going to be in regular situations anyway, where he's just going to give up a lot of baskets unless he fixes that footwork or develops that lateral athleticism. But at 22, I don't know that I see that. At Jahlil was at least 19. You had reason to believe in that. 22, you kind of are what you are.
Right on. All right, let's talk best fits in the NBA draft, best team fits. Thiago, who is a good fit for Mr. Obi Toppin?
So I had a team in mind, and I think it's a team that can kind of maybe afford to take a shot on a guy like Obi. I mean, they're way, way behind the development curve here. It's going to take a while for this team to really get going, and they have a guy in the name of Blake Griffin who kind of resembles.
I should have known coming in.
Resembles a little bit like Obi, his game, kind of this athletic. We don't know what it is coming out of college kind of thing. And I feel like they can maybe a team that can maybe take a shot on Obi. If it doesn't work out, then you move on and you start again from scratch. So for me, the team is Detroit. Maybe have to be the focal point of your offense and see how you can develop some of his game. But I mean, yeah, that to me is the team that comes to mind.
I didn't run with Detroit, but I had them on my list. But then I went to their depth chart. And that is a process-level Sixers roster next year, man. That is a terrible roster. I think personally they're going to go guard, probably best player available in the guard position. But I agree, man. I think Obi's definitely on their radar. Austin, do you have a best team fit for Obi Toppin?
Well, Deibs, so are you going Detroit?
I'm not going Detroit. Go ahead, Austin.
Okay, so I'm going to give 2 here.
All right.
The Knicks, I think, would be a very a very
oh my god,
team for him. Because power forwards.
Who shoots on that team?
I think you could actually pair him with Mitchell Robinson, and that would make a really interesting combo in your front court. Because they're both lanky, athletic. big. I think Rip Mitchell's probably a better defender, but I think Obi would be like kind of like your Amari there. I think that might be why they would like the idea of him. Another team I like would be the Phoenix Suns. I think pairing him with DeAndre Ayton, you would have absolutely no interior defense at all.
The next Amari?
But another Amari situation. But you would have like you'd have D Book, you'd have Ayton who's legit, and you'd have another big there. It could be interesting.
Just one question. Sorry, one question. If you have Obi, Mitchell Robinson, Frank, Kevin Knox, and RJ Barrett.
I know where this is going.
Who the hell puts the ball in the basket?
That's brutal.
They got Wayne Ellington for a reason.
Yeah. That says 65 points per game.
Got Kevin Knox. I mean, they were gonna sign KD. They could have done that, but
yeah.
All right. So I went to the Detroit Pistons. Then I looked at the Cleveland Cavaliers. But man, the Cavs need defense. So Detroit, they basically need everything.
So Obi Toppin was the logical fit was to go to Cleveland for defense.
And then I went to the Atlanta Hawks. I think the Atlanta Hawks need some help for Trae Young, especially offensively. And I kind of see Obi Toppin being able to kind of slide as the backup 5 behind John Collins. The Hawks have a high-tempo offense. That could be a pretty good fit for Obi Toppin. He likes to run. He likes to dunk. Trae has a lot of flash. That guy, maybe the Atlanta Hawks, I don't know. That Collins-Toppin duo could be somewhat interesting. Oh, man, I feel like we just spent an entire 20 minutes just shitting on Obi Toppin. All right.
Well, I think Collins plays power forward.
Okay.
So I mean, you couldn't play Obi at center. I guess you have to move Collins to 5, but will he do that in a contract year?
And then they also got Clint Capella on the trade. So
true.
There's a lot to figure it out there. I'm not saying it's a bad pick, but there's a lot of bigs, runners.
They should trade for Jordan Nwora.
All right, let's wrap it up. That is Austin. Follow him on Twitter at KrellTPL. Check out the feed to Embiid at the feed to Embiid on Twitter. And that is my man Thiago. Follow him on Twitter at TScabia for Austin. For Thiago, for myself. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.
Sixers win it! Wow! Oh, man. Embiid just posterized Russell Westbrook.
You love the Philadelphia Eagles.